Dark Ops challenges have been something that have been in Call of Duty for a couple of years now because of Black Ops 3. The introduction of these, the challenges that do not reveal themselves until you actually complete them, is something that players since then have really come to enjoy. And while you complete them, not only do you get a cool little calling card on some bragging rights, but you also get a decent little bonus for whatever mode you're playing in. Or that's new for this year actually, because we end up having challenges across Blackout, Zombies, and multiplayer, whereas previously Dark Ops challenges were only available in multiplayer. We now see them transition not only to multiplayer, but also to Blackout and Zombies as well. So today we're gonna be covering all of the Blackout Secret Dark Ops challenges that are available right now. Currently there are 2 that are missing off the list as a full disclaimer. It's not the full list just yet, but we do have 7 to go over here in this video, which honestly can give you a great little head start. And additionally, with each of these Dark Ops challenges that you end up completing, you'll end up getting 25 merits per completion. So it's a decent head start and a level or 2 depending on how far in the echelon rankings you actually are. So with that said, let's just jump right into it. Now, currently, like we mentioned, there are 7 of these 9 currently available, and we'll give you guys updates on this as they come out. But a weekend now, people have found 7 of them, and so little tips for all of them will come along in this video as well. But we end up seeing the challenges of Practice Makes Perfect, Zombie Jams, Red Light, Green Light, Open the Blast Doors, Back in the Ground, Baller, and Fist Fighter. Now, of course, these all have their own challenges that once you end up getting them, you'll know exactly what they are, but for those of you guys that may not, here's exactly what you do for them. So for Practice Makes Perfect, you end up having to shoot a bullseye at firing range from 90 meters. And this one really comes down to whatever weapon you end up having and maybe hoping that firing range is cleared out. You'll end up seeing that there are a bunch of targets in firing range, as the name naturally suggests, but the one in which will guarantee you this is the northernmost firing range at the edge of the compound. And here you'll see the massive gap of the firing range between target and where you stand. Now, modeled after where the actual long guns would be, it's best suited for snipers, but you're not always gonna get a sniper right off the bat. And if you end up going for this one right off the bat, you're gonna have to be careful because firing range is normally a hot drop in which a lot of people will go. So if you end up having the quick shot to take, definitely try to, but if it's at the edge of zone, this might even be the better time to do it because more so players will try and gravitate towards the action, and not as many people out of the majority of players that are in the match will be zoning at that one specific area. So what you have to do though is just hit that target dead center right where the red bullseye is, and this is again best done with a sniper, but can be done with a rifle. Now, as with all the other Dark Ops challenges you'll see, you don't actually know if you complete them until the end of the match, and that's something that you have to complete the match. I wouldn't back out just for the sake of potentially canceling out the progress that you made on the challenge, but just take a couple of shots to make sure that you got it, and that one's down. Practice makes perfect in the bag. As for Zombies Jams, this is one that's going to require you to activate the jukebox at the diner. This is the Zombies Diner from Transit. It's just east of Nuketown Island and just west of Array, and honestly, this is one that you can just dine and dash, full pun intended. This one, all you have to do is go over to the jukebox and interact with it by holding square, or on Xbox, the X button, and whatever you have bound to interact on PC. All you gotta do is just go over, hold that for a split second, and you can literally just get going. It's something that even in the background gameplay, you'll see that there was somebody in the building. I don't know if I ever pinpointed them in this gameplay you're watching. I can't remember off the top of my head. Going back and editing, obviously, we'll get the answer, but I stopped by real quick, literally just went in, hit the jukebox and left, and that was it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to stick around, of course, if you do want some zombies kills, which we'll get to in just a second because that actually is a challenge as well. You can stick around there because zombies will usually spawn. There's usually a mystery box location there also, but that's something you can just get in and get out. As for Red Light, Green Light, this one will task you with finding the underwater supply stash at the cargo docks. Now, if you don't pay attention to a lot of the challenge world and may not have seen any of this, you might never have noticed that there's actually a supply stash, one of the crates actually underwater that will spawn. Majority of the time it will spawn, but it does have the potential not to. But if you take a look out at the buoys in the water, just on the other side of the docks and also the other side of the ship, it will spawn at one of those 3 buoys. I found mine closer towards dock side, but it could spawn at the others as well. And here you'll normally see a level 3 armor. I found a sniper, which I love because I'm a huge fan of sniping in this game. But all you have to do for this challenge to complete it is simply to be the first one to loot it. Now, when you go cargo, it's normally something that players are more so fixated on the loot on the ground. I personally had, again, before I went in and investigated these, no idea that this was even a thing. So to be able to go in and get some high-level armor and a high-level weapon, that's always a great start. And so therefore, If you want to just jump right into the water, well, hopefully it spawns in for you, but it's not the worst idea as well. The next one we'll talk about, open the blast doors, is again another one that you can literally just get in and get out to do. I spawned in on this game and just landed right where you needed to, but in Fracking Tower, there's actually an entire underground network section, which you may or may not have known about. You can end up seeing that there's a supply stash in there as well, but to get in there, you can either go in through one of the access entries that is a lower tunnel, or you can go straight in the middle and open up the blast doors, which is what this task requires you to do to challenge this. You have to open the blast doors on Fracking Tower, and all you have to do is just hit that button that will open it up where you see me in the game, and that's it. Then you unlock that one as well, and it can move us on into the next challenge. Now this one's probably the most tedious of all the challenges so far. Back in the ground requires you to kill 100 zombies. Now, as you guys may know, these zombie spawns are sporadic throughout the map itself. There are a few fixed spots in which zombies will spawn, such as gym, diner, graveyard, asylum, and I want to say one more maybe, but off the top of my head, those are the ones right there. And so therefore, you got to go in and kill these zombies, and so you're not going to be able to finish this all in one match. It's probably going to take you 4, 5, 6, 7 matches, depending on how many, but if you want a good tip here from what I've done trying to do this all day and earlier as well, land at asylum or graveyard and see whichever one the box spawns at first. Then you'll pick up 10 to 15 zombies each place and then just rotate over. A lot of the times you'll have some company at asylum, but not necessarily graveyard, so it works out that you end up having that switch off, and so you can get a few early kills at asylum, and if you do, you're probably gonna have both of those all to yourself, or you can end up getting a few zombies kills early on, and then being able to take whatever loot you end up getting from either the box there or what you've picked up off the ground, and picking off one of the only 1 or 2 people left at asylum before you end up repeating the process. So again, this is probably the most tedious, but it's definitely something you can still finish in a relatively decent amount of time with the right planning. Then the next 2 in sequential order are actually the locked up ones, the ones that are still classified, and again, as those come out, I can give you guys updates if you guys would like to see more on those, or if you guys don't really care all that much, we can leave it be. Doesn't really matter, just let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But after that, we end up seeing the Baller Challenge, which requires you to simply shoot a basket. Now, there are a bunch of different locations in which you can play basketball around the map, although the most notable is that of Raid Side, or the westernmost side of Estates. There you end up having the entire basketball court with tons of basketball spawns, and all you have to do is just go in and shoot a basket. Pretty self-explanatory. Again, if you do this at the beginning of the map, you can do it, but you may actually come into some contact with enemy players. Later on in the game, it might be something you do and doesn't draw as much attention as, say, firing at the firing range, because you don't shoot off a single bullet. But all you have to do is make a basket there, and you got that one, a free 25 merits. And the final one we'll talk about here today deals with Fist Fighter, and this one is honestly one that seems really tough, but I completed it probably within 3 games or so. The big misconception here with this one is that you have to start with fists and end with fists to kill an enemy player, because it tasks you with killing an enemy using only your fists. However, it is something all you have to do is finish them off. Now, I haven't tested this on downs because I ended up getting it actually the way you'll see in gameplay, where I put in a bunch of shots, or a shotgun shell in this case, into the enemy player, and from there I ended up just punching him 2 or 3 times, and then he ended up dying. So that's all you have to do, is just finish them off and get the elim with that. I don't know if you're playing squads or duos, if you can clean up, and while they're down, finish them off with your fist and it'll give it to you. I'm gonna say no, but it is easier than you may anticipate. And so therefore, all you gotta do, put a shot in, finish them off with your fist, and you're good to go. But that ultimately is the way to complete all of these Dark Ops challenges that are currently known at the moment. Again, there are 2 missing. In terms of if you just straight up go for these and don't really focus on trying to win all that much, I ended up getting as many done early game as possible, then playing out each game, so you might even be able to finish them earlier than me. But overall, it probably took me about 6 to 10 games perhaps of Blackout to play and complete all 7 that you see right now. And so therefore, it's not something that takes entirely long, but again, if you end up playing early game, trying to do those, and then either getting yourself in Living or going next, it's definitely gonna be shorter than that if you play them out like I did. So really comes down to preference and how you want to tackle these challenges, but for those of you guys that are interested in knowing how these all work, well, that's how you do them. So that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed, hopefully it helped you out in some way, shape, or form. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys enjoying Blackout? Because I am having a ton of fun, man. I'm so torn between Blackout, multiplayer, and zombies, because this game has honestly so much packed into it, and I love it. I love the idea of being able to jump on and grind whatever I want here out of this, and having that massive excitement again to play daily and grind it out. out. So that said, let me know your thoughts down there in the comments on what you think about Blackout. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, Blackout, multiplayer, zombies. We got you covered here up on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to check those out, links are in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.